Hello everyone. In this video I want to show you how to make a propeller as well as how to create Knurls and how to create the Splined Shafts. Three of the features that are very common in aerospace and mechanical systems. And although they are not necessarily all going on the same feature, I just here put them all in the same part so we can see better, but it doesn't mean that any propeller has a knob on it or a spline shaft. So here the goal is just education. And if I want to start, so the first thing that you need is a basically shaft. This is where the propellers go on it and everything else. The next part is the initial part for the propeller. So here is what you see is basically the sweep of a narrow rectangle over a portion of a spline. So if you look at this, basically this is the sketch of the sweep, right? So a narrow rectangle, and you can put this edge of it here on the edge of the shaft, or you can bring it a little bit inside really, but the effective length is the portion that is outside. And this is the thickness of it, and then you have to sweep it along a portion of a helix. So if you look at here, the helix is this one here. Let me show you the helix. So the sketch of it is of course that circle, but the helix itself is this one here. So let me hide this. So this is that curve in blue that you see here, right? You can see it. That's this blue curve, and then the rectangle is gonna go and follow this curve and creates this initial sweep that you can see, right? Now, of course, this is not the profile of a propeller, so the next part you need to cut that profile. For that, you use a cut extrude. So here I have this sketch, which you can see it is coming from basically the edges of that sweep that I just showed you. And then this is the profile that I want. Again, here you see I'm not using numbers. You have to use exact numbers with a spline. So here is done with a single spline, starting on the profile of the shaft, ending at the profile of the shaft. And any part that you want to cut out is your sketch. So this internal part is the part you want to keep. This external part, all of this is the one that you want to cut. And then here I cut it completely through the object, right? So you see that this profile is cut through that big sweep that I made in the previous step, and there we go. You got your propeller, so it moves back and it has curvature. So it has curvature in two directions, right? Here it has both curvature along X and also along Y and Z, actually three directions. And then you do a circular pattern to get as many props as many blades as around the shaft. So here there are 5 blades. So these 5 together make your propeller. And then here I use the dome feature to create this head here, right? And you can do it with anything else that you want. So this is so far this initial part. Then I did a cut extrude and shell this out so I can create a spline in it. Now for the spline, if you look, the first thing I did was one of the teeth basically, which is very simple in this case. The way that I did it was with a simple sketch. So here I have 2 radial lines that are going from the center of the shaft to the perimeter of the inner circle, and they have angle 8 degrees, and they are symmetric about the vertical line, and they are between 2 circles. One of them is the inner circle of the shaft, the other one is the other circle that determines the height of this tooth. Okay, and for splines, we can just go with a simple kind of trapezoidal shape for a tooth like that. They don't need to be necessarily like the profile of a gear, which is an involute curve, okay? So keep in mind that the profile of a spline does not need to be exactly like involute, although some of them that you see, they kind of look like an involute. So it depends on exact profile of the spline shaft. And then you do a circular pattern of this. So first you do some fillets on the edges that you see I did here. And then if you want, you can make these fillets a little bit bigger, right? So if they are small, let's say I went with 0.04, let's make them 0.1, see how big they become. Still good. And then do a circular pattern on them, and there we go. Right, so this is your spline shaft. So a similar shaft like this can go in to transfer the power. The next thing that you need is the knurl. So that was the spline shaft. For the knurl is basically a circular pattern of a cut sweep again. So first thing I did, I made a curve. Let me show you. So this is my curve. This curve is the projection of this sketch. So this sketch is done on one of the major planes, in this case the front plane. So I went on to the front plane and I made this sketch, right? This is the direction of cut sweep for the knurl. And for the knurl, as I said, it's a cut sweep, so it looks like this. Let me show you. This is the cut that I did. And if you look at it from the top, it's perfectly a straight line, okay? So it is a straight line. The only thing is it's on a curved surface. So for that reason, the profile of the cut sweep, which in this case is a small circle, this one should follow a curved path, not a straight line. So that the sketch that I made in the previous step needs to be projected onto the surface. And in order to do that, basically this line that you had, this one, you need to go here to the features and go to the curves and use this one, project curve. So take the line, and then for the surface, pick the surface and project it. Once you do that, then you are going to get this curve that I just showed you, right? This line here, let me make it visible so you can see it. There we go in blue. Right, and then you can have your circle, which in this case is this one. You can have that circle follow that curve, and it gives you the first cut for the knurl. Once you have that, now you can basically do a circular pattern of it, and once you do it, this is what you're getting. Okay, and for the knurl, all you need is to do this cut sweep in the opposite direction. So the last step is to mirror them with respect to a center plane, right? A symmetric plane. And once you do that, you are going to have your knurls. Okay, so this is a little bit heavier part, so it takes a little bit on the computer to update, but basically that's all it is. There we go. So it is updated, and now you get the beautiful knurls, splines, and the propellers. So hopefully this video was useful to you. You learn how to make 3 separate features that are very common. As I said, the first one for aerospace systems, for mechanical systems, propulsion systems. This is for connecting objects together, and this is for handling parts. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.